Let's bring in our political panel, Democratic strategist and former Ohio State Senate Minority Leader Capri Cafaro, and conservative columnist and author Kristin Tate. Thank you both for joining us. Capri, to you first.
Absolutely.
You see Nancy Pelosi up there with the swearing-in ceremonies going on. She's already said we are going to pass a bill today, and it is going to shut down this, or it's going to end the partial government shutdown. But, of course, the Senate's not going to take a look at it because it doesn't have funding for the border wall. Is this kind of a jockeying move to see where everybody stands at this point in time, Capri?
Absolutely. Look, you know, I was not the Speaker of the House, but I was the Minority Leader of the Ohio Senate, and this is not uncommon for a leader to put up a vote that would basically box people in and get them on record. I think that this is a big tale, frankly, of, you know, trying to pin the blame on the party, so to speak. I think that the Democrats want to say, look, we're willing to govern, and then they're going to try to at least make the Republicans look like obstructionists by not taking up this clean continuing resolution to try to get the government up and running again. But, you know, we're going to have to do more than just position to show that Democrats are ready, willing, and able to govern.
Yeah, my point exactly. And Kristin, to you, Nancy Pelosi said there is no amount, and this is a quote, by no amount of persuasion from President Trump that is going to make her give the money for the border wall. The question is, if somebody throws out the grand bargain of the Dreamers, she talked about the Dreamers in her acceptance speech, if somebody throws out this grand bargain to get a solution on DACA in the Dreamers, she's got to at least listen, right, Kristin?
I don't know, Trace. I think this government shutdown could go on for months because both sides have made it clear that they are not willing to compromise or budge. And of course, Trump is going to get the blame from the Democrats, and Pelosi and Schumer are going to get the blame from the Republicans. But ultimately, this partial shutdown, I think, is far more politically damaging for the Democrats. When Chuck Schumer sneers and says, you're not going to get your wall, he's not talking to Trump. He's talking to the 60 million Americans who voted for Trump. Trump's base is furious, and they want this government to remain shut down until he gets funding for his signature promise. And frankly, Trace, middle America is not that worried about these non-essential government workers not getting paid. They're far more concerned about their own jobs. There's little sympathy in flyover country for these sort of faceless, non-essential bureaucrats not being able to collect their taxpayer-funded checks. So I think we're in for a long wait here with this partial shutdown.
Well, and Lindsey Graham said as much. I mean, he said, look, if the president backs off on this wall funding, it could be the end of his presidency. And, of course, Lindsey Graham has been a very big advocate of the president. I want to get to you, Capri, on this.
Sure.
You know, the whole idea of Nancy Pelosi now coming out saying that impeachment is back on the table. I mean, she said it was off the table, and now she's like, well, let's see what Robert Mueller comes up with, and we'll take it from there.
You know, I think that this is a real dangerous road for Nancy Pelosi, now Speaker Pelosi, back in that chair just minutes ago, to walk. I mean, I get where she's coming from. I think part of this is the delicate dance that she's going to have to maneuver between the newly elected freshmen, particularly the more progressive wing of this party that is trying to push the Democratic Party further to the left, and at the same time trying to balance a more moderated approach, understanding that in 2020, Democrats cannot win the White House. Number one, if they are a foil for Donald Trump, and number two, they can't win without places in the Midwest that Donald Trump won, like my home state of Ohio and our neighboring Michigan and et cetera. And these people in the middle of the country do not want to see Donald Trump impeached. What's more interesting is the fact that she said that it could be possible for a sitting president to be indicted. And that's something that has been up to question because it's a policy of the Department of Justice, but not codified law. So I think they're going to bark up that tree, too. But beware, guys.
I want to switch topics on you if I can, Kristin. I want to go to this whole Mitt Romney thing because the now Senator Mitt Romney from Utah, you know, you read these headlines saying Mitt Romney is backtracking off of his op-ed from yesterday. And I want to play what Mitt Romney said today. Play this.
I think it's important as I step into the Senate and this new responsibility to lay out my priorities and my perspectives, which I was able to do. I look forward to working with the Republicans and with Democrats, working with the President, members of the House and the Senate. We'll have some differences, and I expect that each senator and each representative will express their own views as they think best. But I'm not worried about what other people think about what I have to say. I just want to hear what they have to say about their priorities and their perspectives.
I reread the op-ed, Kristin, and it doesn't look to me that Mitt Romney is backtracking. He said in the op-ed there's a lot of common ground they can work together with, but of course the media focused on the fact that he was bashing the president a little bit. Your thoughts?
Right. Well, Mitt Romney got no love from GOP voters, especially Trump supporters, from that op-ed, and I think now he's kind of realizing that. Mitt Romney was very happy to accept Trump's help while he was campaigning, but now it seems like he's kind of sanctimoniously turning on the president to get attention back on himself. But this op-ed highlights a big problem within the Republican Party, which is that conservatives spend far too much time tearing each other down to get media attention. There's no appetite right now for a civil war in the GOP, especially with the Democrats coming in and taking back control of the House. So Mitt Romney's got to be very careful with his rhetoric as far as it concerns working with other Republicans to further an agenda.
Right.
And just to kind of one up on Kristin's point there, Capri, I want to put the president's tweet up from yesterday because he is not going to have any of this. Look, he's going to fight back as hard as whatever they throw at him. It says, here we go with Mitt Romney, but so fast. Question will be, is he a flake? I hope not. Would much prefer that Mitt focus on border security and so many other things where he can be helpful. I won big and he didn't. We should be happy for all Republicans, be a team player and win. And the president there, the is he a flake, referring, of course, to Jeff Flake.
Jeff Flake, right.
It doesn't appear that Mitt Romney, by any stretch, is going to take the same track that Jeff Flake did.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Look, I don't think any of this is surprising. Mitt Romney is a very traditional Republican. Donald Trump is always going to be a counterpuncher. And I think we're just going to have to wait and see. Jeff Flake talked a big game, but totally didn't vote that way. And we'll have to see if Mitt Romney puts his money where his mouth is with his votes.
Capri Cafaro, Kristin Tate, both of you, thank you so much. Very much appreciated.
Thanks, Trace.